Hi, welcome to another episode of Talk with Confidence. This is where we have inspirational conversations with inspirational people. Today, I have a truly inspirational guest in studio with us. His name is Bradely Bhramadu. He's a fitness expert and a bodybuilder. Mr. Bhramadu, welcome.
Hey, nice to be here, man.
Wonderful. I want to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think when just now when I introduced, I said fitness expert and bodybuilder, and as you can see, I was not lying. Can you flex a little?
No, the shirt might button.
Oh, okay.
Let's try to keep the shirt intact.
No worries, bro. So, Mr. Bradely Bhramadu, can you tell us a bit about your history, where you come from, where you're born, etc.?
So, I'm from Durban, KZN boy.
Yeah.
Born and bred.
013? Is it 013 or 031?
031.
031, yeah.
So, yeah, from Durban. I've been in the sporting industry for a very long time.
Yeah.
From school days, junior school days,
Yeah.
to campus and actually now as well. I made it quite far in my footballing career as well.
Yeah.
I played in many different clubs.
Yeah.
Locally,
Yeah.
and so I've always been in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
And sports. I mean, I owe that to my parents
Yeah.
for always pushing me to always be in the sporting field. Sometimes it may not have always been the
Yeah.
right thing to do,
Yeah.
but they've always pushed me to have a winning mentality all the time, never give up, and I take that throughout all aspects of my life.
Cool, man. So you mentioned that you played soccer quite a bit.
Yeah.
Where did that interest come from?
So, as a Durban Indian boy, if I want to say, we've always been in the culture of football, Manchester United,
Yeah.
Liverpool. So we've always been
Yeah.
in that space, no
Exactly.
matter where we've been.
Yeah, man.
And, we're always trying to imitate your favorite player. And so I think that's where the interest did come about.
Yeah.
And I know my dad always pushed me to play soccer and to really give my best in that. So, but where it did originate from was my love for the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always loved it no matter what I was doing, whether I was breaking windows in the backyard, I'd bunk classes just to go play. And even if it was just myself, I'd just be kicking a ball at the net. That was me. So I've always had the interest. So I feel like it's in my DNA. It doesn't mean something that's been pushed on me. It's just who I am,
Awesome, man. And I understand even in your schooling, you went to a school that was quite intensive in terms of sports and pushing their students to actually excel in sports activities, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. I went to Durban High School, if anybody knows that. It's probably one of the best schools in terms of sports and in that space.
Yeah.
So we always had that mentality. If you did love sport, I mean, the school pushed you even further.
Yeah.
In terms of your nutrition, somehow trying to help you with nutrition, pushing you the extra mile, teamwork. So it was an all boys school. So some people may say, it's not that good.
Yeah.
But I feel it was the absolute right move for me to be in that school, and it did make me what I am now as well.
Awesome. I mean, to get to the level where you're at now, and we'll go through the journey from soccer to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But to get to the level where you are now, it takes a lot of discipline. I mean, there's a medal here, which we'll also touch on a bit later. So there's proof of success. It takes a lot of discipline. Do you believe that the discipline that you have to show in sports and your bodybuilding, does it contribute to other aspects of your life as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever aspect you're taking out of your life, you always try and implement it into other parts.
Yeah.
So in sports, you always have that winning mentality. Whether you're in a team or an individual, you always want to win. You want to be the best you can be. So what I did was I decided to take that aspect of my life and try and implement it in all areas, whether it be work, whether it be relationships, your family, just trying to be successful. I think definitely the sport aspect of winning and doing your best separated me from everybody else, and I saw the difference in that from day one. That my mentality towards things was always at a different level. It was very competitive. I'm a very competitive person. I hate losing. Whether we're playing a game at home or just with the friends, I hate losing. And it definitely did separate me from other areas and people in my life as well.
Okay. And the transition from soccer to bodybuilding, I believe there's something that happened.
No,
can you just let us know?
It was quite a heartbreaking thing for me. I think way back when it was, 2014 or something like that. I tore my ACL.
Yes.
And it was just a Sunday soccer with the boys,
That competitive spirit came through.
We just finished church and we're like, hey guys, let's go play ball,
Yeah.
It was a thing we always did every Sunday, So we were just playing, and as my competitive nature came across, another guy was taking me on and dribbling the team and just, going out of control, and it was driving me insane.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle losing. So I did something very ridiculous, and I went at him and I full tackle, and then what happened was he landed on my ACL, on my knee, and I tore all the ligaments in my knee. And that's, so I didn't really have an operation from that, because they told me it would be a 50-50 chance that it could work again, it could not. So I tried to recover, doing what I can, what I know, and I kept coming to play football again, but I was never the same. In the back of my mind, in the back of my mind, I always was scared that I might rupture this again. So that's when I decided to join the gym. And it had nothing to do with bodybuilding at all. Zero bodybuilding. I just wanted to get stronger and get this knee working again. And then that's when I met probably one of my best friends right now. His name is Julian Lee Ramdari. He's actually competing today as well. He's a champion bodybuilder as well. He's the best. And that he actually influenced me into getting into bodybuilding. I mean, I wasn't into it, wearing trunks and I was like, I don't want to wear that. I don't want to go on stage and wear spandex. That's not me. That's not me. That's not me at all. And then I carried on. We carried on training together. He took me under his wing, and he really, invested time in me, and we all trained together. And that's when I fell in love with it. When I actually went for one of his shows, that's when it really put me on. I was like, wow, this is amazing. What is this? It never looks like this all the time. And then on stage, it's like, what is this? And I saw the discipline it took him. And, every day, the grind, the hustle, 24/7, he was always on the ball. So, I was with him most of the time, and it really motivated me to want to do this. And that's when I can actually say a lot of us as competitive bodybuilders and people in the fitness, we always aspire and we look up to international superstars, and we're like, we want to be like these guys, which is all fair and well. But honestly, I can say that guy really, he's the reason I'm actually bodybuilding now. He actually taught me everything from A to Z.
Awesome, man. And getting into the sport, right? How does it work? So there's you see sometimes the Arnold Invitational, and you see different competitions. How does it work? So you go from a normal guy in the gym lifting weights to on stage. What is the journey from there to the stage?
I think when it comes to bodybuilding, it's open to anybody. But very few people want to sacrifice so much of their life and take that time in investing in just themselves and making themselves look better. And it takes a different kind of mindset to be a bodybuilder. I think it's the hardest sport in the world.
Can you tell us just a bit of your routine or your exercise regime? So from morning, what time do you have to wake up? What do you have to eat? And
So for me, on a normal day, if we have off season and we have on season. So off season is when you're not competing or getting ready for a show, but you still have to put in the work. So on those days, I'd wake up probably about 6, 7. I'd make my breakfast. I prefer eating cream of rice. It's not quite popular with South Africa right now, but it's getting into the market. Cream of rice, some protein, some source of protein, and maybe some fruits as well. That would be my staple breakfast every day. And throughout the day, when I go to work, I'd be eating maybe 4 meals in the day. And that would just be a source of carbohydrate, so your rice or potato with protein and maybe some fats. Just depends where I am in my diet and how I want to look. So I probably eat maybe 6, 7 times a day. Yeah.
But I mean, to the people or the person who's not clued up about, you'd think that that many meals doesn't make you gain weight. Like, what's the scientific bits behind that?
So a lot of people feel like they need to eat 6, 7 times a day, and it's not necessarily true. The point is that we have a certain amount of calories we need to eat in a day, whether it be 3,000, 2,000, 4,000, whatever it is. And your body can only digest a certain amount of food at a time. So if I were to eat 3,000 calories in one go for the whole day, it's not going to digest. So your body's only going to absorb a certain amount of that protein, a certain amount of the carbs, and the rest is going to go to fat. It's fat stored. And it's not getting utilized for anything. So eating every 2 hours, meaning that your body is absorbing all that nutrients, using it for the muscle, and you're actually using it as output for a workout in the evening or the day, somewhere in the day. So we're eating throughout the day, we're getting our calories, but ultimately we're using it as fuel for the workouts.
Okay,
That's
wonderful.
That's what we do, yeah.
Wonderful. Now, you've touched on the diet. Tell us about the workout. So you get into the gym. What does Brad do?
So the workout is the fun part. Right? I always tell everybody the workout is the fun part. It's the diet that is always the hardest thing.
Okay.
But since we're talking about the workout, I mean, anyone that knows me, I don't talk to anybody. I mean, my fiance doesn't even talk to me when we're in the gym. She knows her place. Like, we don't talk. But she knows, okay, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And she'll bring me some water now and then. But yeah, me in the gym, hoodie on, earphones, man, I'm old school. So back in the day, like, we trained hardcore, you got your hoodie on, you got your earphones, music is blasting in your ears, and you're lifting heavy. That's how I grew up, and that's how I know how to train. But as I developed, I learned that, lifting heavy weights all the time isn't always the best thing. So I adapted my routines, I did lots of research, lots of homework. I've been studying this for years and years and years on my own, just gathering research and learning from people as well. And you don't necessarily need to lift extremely heavy weights to reach an output, You just got to make sure that whatever calories you're putting in, depending on what your goal is, if you want to lose weights, you got to make sure you're in a deficit. And by deficit, meaning that whatever the calories you've been eating in a day, you must be able to match it with your workout. So you must be able to burn that much throughout the day and your workouts in order to create a deficit and to lose weight. That's the only way. There's a lot of new tricks and diets out there. I mean, there's your banting and I'm not shooting anybody down. I'm just saying, like, there's different types. There's your meat only diets and your keto. High carb, keto, all these things. But at the end of the day, it's a calorie deficit. And if you're not in the deficit, you can't lose weight. And the same as with gaining weight. It's the opposite. You have to be in a calorie surplus. So you must be eating a lot more, but still burning enough. But you need to create a point where the food you're taking in to gain more size or weight is higher than the expenditure that you're putting out in the gym or throughout the day.
Awesome, man. going into the competitions themselves.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the memorable competitions that you tell us about your first one,
My first
and then maybe some
wow.
of the memorable ones.
So my first show was back in, man, I can't remember. I think it was 2015. So I haven't been doing this for a very long time. You know, I haven't been competing for a very long time. But what I've reached in that time is just a lot of sacrifice and discipline.
Yeah, man.
So my first show, I went in there. I did diets that I've been told to do to various people. You know. Eat carbs, don't eat carbs.
You're picking up
I was picking up stoppies to everybody. Somebody told me, you know what, don't eat carbs for 6 weeks or something. So man, I was just eating broccoli and fish. That's all I was eating. For 6 weeks, I ate broccoli and fish, and I was training. And you know what, I actually, at the end of that, I actually got to a point where I didn't look terrible. I actually felt I looked decent, you know. And so I was ready. I was like, yeah, let's get this. I go on stage, man. I was looking at these guys.
Yeah.
And I lost hope.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness. These guys, I looked like a child.
Oh,
like I looked like I was in grade 1 and these guys are in matric. Yeah. And at that point, I was like, you know, if I'm going to take this serious, I need to listen to the right people and do the right thing.
That's quite
But I didn't lose confidence. I always, I still said, you know what, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
And people came to me after that show and they're like, you know what, you have potential.
Yeah.
You have potential and you should carry on. I was disheartened. You know, it was my first show. I expected to place better. I mean, what did I get? I can't remember. I think I was like 6th or something. Something like that. Which is not terrible. And so... But just to tell you, like, my journey through bodybuilding, I've always admired the classic bodybuilders, your Arnold, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, your Frank Zane. Frank Zane was always like my idol. And so when I started bodybuilding, I didn't want to be this massive monster. I wanted to have classic lines. I want to be symmetry, you know, small waist, nice shoulders, big chest. And that's where I felt I would want to be, you know. I still wanted to feel like a soccer player, you know, still want to look like a soccer player, but have the bodybuilding physique,
features,
you know. So that's where I wanted to be. And that's when I got into classic bodybuilding, and that was my first show.
So what is the difference between classic bodybuilding and other types?
So classic bodybuilding is creating that classic look of looking like your idols. So, you know, back those days, those guys had big shoulders, you know, nice chest, small waist, nice legs. You know, they had an aesthetic. They looked aesthetic. You know? They looked like sports idols or whatever you want to call them. Whereas an actual bodybuilder now, you know, they're always pushing the extreme. You know, you want to be huge. You know, 150 kgs, you want to be massive. That's the pure bodybuilding. And I felt like my body didn't suit that. You know, I didn't like the way. I mean, I did go through a process where I just got huge, you know, eating whatever, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't feel good. I couldn't tie my shoelace. My stomach was so big I couldn't tie my shoelace.
And that shit wouldn't fit.
No, absolutely not. But I didn't look good at all. I didn't feel good. Every time I ate was a struggle. Food wasn't digesting. It was just, you know, it didn't suit me.
It wasn't conducive to
it wasn't long term. For me, it wasn't long term.
Okay. There's some competitions that you've entered. Recently you won. What was the one that you won most recently?
I can't remember that show. But yeah, it definitely was last year. Yeah.
And some of the shows that you've got into before you won your recent one, I mean, there were some disappointments that you encountered. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So, you know, you go through a journey and the sport is very, you know, it can be very disappointing. And you get through this, you know, you're dieting for 20 weeks and you go on stage, you know, you gave everything you had. And sometimes it's not enough. You know, it's not enough because at the end of the day, people are judging you. And it's their opinion on how they see the physique looking. And sometimes it can be disappointing because you feel that you've reached where you need to be to win the show. and then they choose somebody else,
Yeah.
and you can't justify that. It's how it is.
Yeah.
It's the game, and it can be very disappointing, and it did set me back. It did set me back, and I was thinking, should I continue this? Should I pursue this? What is it giving me?
Yeah.
It's not giving me anything. It's just I go through this torture of putting myself to all of this, and I'm not reaping the rewards. I'm not getting the trophy. And then, I actually had to sit down. I sat with a few of my friends and we spoke about it. And the journey is the most rewarding part. Rather than going and winning a trophy or going and sacrificing all yourself to win a 200 Rand trophy, But what you've done in that 20 weeks, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
Nobody can do that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get so focused on the trophy, you forget about the journey that you've done and what you've actually done.
Wow.
You've reached 3% body fat.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even humanly possible at some times. And you've got muscles showing you don't even know you had, And so that's when I actually had to switch my focus and how I go into the shows. I mean, of course I have a winning mentality, and I don't want to lose. Nobody goes there to lose.
Yeah.
We all go there to win. But you also got to put things in perspective as well. And you got to say to yourself, did you really push yourself?
Yeah.
Did you really? You got to be honest with yourself. And, behind closed doors and when nobody's watching, you got to say, like, did you really put in this work?
Yeah.
And I had to sit and I had to, it's hard for me to tell myself, you didn't really push yourself that much.
Yeah.
You could have gone even further. I mean, you didn't need to have that cheat meal. You didn't need to, you should have finished that 3 minutes left of cardio you had doing. Or you should have finished those 3 reps, and it shows on stage.
Wow.
It actually does show.
The inches count.
Yeah. I mean, they say the devil's in the detail.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure you get all the detail ironed out.
Wow.
But the most important thing that I can tell anybody is that you need to focus on the journey and don't worry about the trophy. Set a goal for yourself and where you want to see your body look. You wanted to see your body at 3% body fat and you did it. Whether you won or not, you won already.
Yeah.
You're a champion in yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you take home a trophy or whatever it is, you still won at the end of the day. And that's where I switch my focus, and that's how I see things now when I compete.
That's awesome, man. Now, to get into the darker side of the sport, bodybuilding has a bad rep in some circles, some conversations, because there are some bodybuilders who take illegal substances, as in even in the Olympics, in other sports as well, boxing, wherever. But can you just tell us a bit about the dark side of bodybuilding?
So I think where it really gets a bad name is the use of anabolics. About anabolic steroids, and a lot of people use it, but they don't know how to use it, and they give it a really bad name. And I see it happening a lot with the youth. I mean, the kids, they're already taking anabolics, and it's so freely available, with a lot of the young kids around, because they'll idolize people in the Olympia stage, the highest platform, and they want to look like that now. So
want to take the shortcut.
They want to take the shortcut.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't see that, whether you take anabolics, whether you do it natural, it's not going to make you a champion. It's not going to make you better than the other person.
Yeah.
It's not. Your diet, your eating, your training, how committed you are to the sport, your rest, all of that plays into account. They think that they're going to take anabolics and they're going to get instant success, which never happens.
Not in any area of life. Yeah.
In any sport. So I think a lot of the people that don't compete as well, they're the ones that give us a bad name, give the sport of bodybuilding a bad name, because they abuse the substances, they don't know how to use it, and with social media now, and even back then with articles, it really gave it a bad name because they do stupid things with their bodies, and I haven't seen anybody die from anabolics use, but it does cause real damage to yourself if you don't know how to use it. And I feel that that's what really put the sport pull back a lot in the world, in fact. Yeah.
On that note, dark note, let's go to a lighter note. Can you tell us about this?
So, I mean, I've got a lot of trophies, but for me, this one means the most to me. And this was in 2016 when I got my colors. Colors.
What does it mean getting?
So, you know, in every sport you do, you get your provincial colors, you know, you get your South African colors, you get all of that. And in bodybuilding, it's the same. So, when I got this, I managed to get my colors and represent KwaZulu-Natal on the South African stage.
Wow, beautiful.
And
so you're the best in KZN.
I don't like to say it there, but I'm definitely not the best. But
you're amongst the...
but you know, we always aspire to be the best. But I can't say it. But it is a goal. It is a goal. And so this medal, I mean, this meant a lot to me because I represented my city.
Yeah, man.
You know, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
And when I went to the SA stage, and I didn't win that show, but I came in top 4.
Oh, beautiful.
So yet I didn't win it, but I still managed to represent my city.
Yeah.
You know, I managed to get my colors.
Oh.
And I was upset I didn't win.
Yeah.
You know, but I was fighting with giants there.
Yeah.
You know, I was
best of the best.
the best of the best in South Africa when I went on stage there. And for me to place that way there, you know, I don't see it right there. I want to win. But when I sat back and I actually looked at it, I was like, you know, damn.
Yeah.
This actually means a lot.
Yeah.
You represent, you know, you represent your city. You know, you took on the best in South Africa, which I honestly think that the bodybuilders in South Africa are exceptional.
Yeah.
And you know, we don't get the recognition we deserve, but I think we can really compete with everybody in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is definitely
awesome.
My favorite one.
Awesome. So we'll be keeping this on the show. So moving from looking just inward and looking to improve yourself, you've gone into a space where you're looking to help others improve themselves. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So, I mean, beginning of this year, I decided that I wanted to make a difference. You know, every year we all have New Year's resolutions, you know, new year, new me. But, you know, I really sat down and I was looking at information on the internet and magazines, and the amount of nonsense is out there, and how youth as well are getting guided into the wrong things. I mean, we were lucky when we were growing up that we had much experienced guys showing us the way, and that's why we didn't, you know, get to a point where we're doing stuff like what they are doing now, you know, using anabolics in a useless way, you know. So right now I decided to start out my own fitness journey, and I started doing my own online training and you know, personal training as well. And I didn't start it because I wanted to make money, not at all. It was more for me to inform people, and mainly the youth, that, you know, there's a better way of doing this. You know, you don't have to go on drugs. You don't have to do ridiculous things to your body in order to look a certain way. So for me, it was just a matter of unlocking your potential. And I mean, every one of us has something in us that's burning, but we don't ever want to release it, or we're scared, you know, we don't feel like we can do it. So that actually pushed me more into wanting to help people give the best version of themselves that they can be. Awesome. Whether you are overweight, whether you're skinny, whether you want to compete, you know, whatever your journey was, I want to help you get there, but in a healthy way, and, you know, with all the knowledge that I've learned over the years from various people, and you know, books I've read, and all of that. I wanted to share that with people out there now.
Awesome, man. So if I'm watching this and I'm saying this guy can help me reach my fitness goals, how do I get a hold of you?
So On all social media platforms, your Instagram, your Facebook. So when I decided to launch this, I wanted to launch it in a space where a lot of people are active on social media, and I felt like that's the best way to connect with people rather than, just posting stuff up that people don't really care. A lot of people get discouraged with a lot of personal trainers because they just come across as, I want you to lose weight or I want you to gain weight. It just feels like, doesn't feel real. So I decided to launch it on Instagram and Facebook, and you can follow my handle on brad.20. And I just shared knowledge, That's all I do. I post real stuff up, free knowledge. I'm not even charging people half the time for these things. It's just free knowledge, and a lot of people they want the knowledge, but they don't want to pay for it, and it's understandable. I'm totally cool with that, but they need to know, and that's how you make a difference by just giving them knowledge that they can just read. And from doing that, it's just exploded. What I've been doing, I've been getting a lot of input from people, and how it's been helping them.
Awesome.
I've got quite a few clients now that they pay me because they want a long-term journey that we want to go through. And I've got athletes now, got a few young boys, guys, young kids in university wanting to compete. And by me helping them now, I'm showing them the right way or how to use their bodies in the right way, not using anabolics. You don't need it, right now. And that's been the most beneficial thing for me, was just seeing this journey and how they are transitioning
and seeing the difference.
Difference. It's amazing.
Awesome.
It's more rewarding than getting a paycheck.
Yeah,
it really is.
Awesome. Bradley, it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, strong head shake. Wow, that was inspirational. I'm sure you're inspired. I'm inspired. I think I might just go to the gym after this show. You've been watching Talk with Confidence right here on Global Conference Television. Etada.